Hey, Shalom. It's your brother Yawanathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Now, I was around some relatives, so to speak, today, and they started talking about speaking in tongues and making those random onomatopoeia sounds. Now, in the church, growing up, you might think, hey, that's what speaking in tongues is. But what they teach in the Baptist church, that is not speaking in tongues. That's not what the Bible was talking about when it was going into that. And we're going to prove that through the scriptures. And we're going to prove the folly, okay, of that tradition. And I got this article up here because I was trying to figure out where did that notion even come from. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could put the background on where they came up with that false, doctrine. They could give me the background on it. But I found this article here. Okay, it says, what does speaking in tongues mean? And this is from dictionary.com. Learn about this experience. Now, the article says what? Speaking in tongues also referred to the gift of tongues or glossolalia. Glossolalia. The actual word, let's go get it in a blue letter. All right. Okay.
Strong's G 1100. Glossa.
Right? So the tongue, a member of the body or organ of speech. The second definition in A, you see it says what? The language or dialect used by a particular people distinct from that of other nations. Different languages used by different people. Now in this article, when we go back, you'll find that it says a language incomprehensible. But let me start here, this first paragraph. Yeah, it says is a phenomenon that occurs when a person experiences religious ecstasy or or a trance, utters incomprehensible sounds that they believe are a language spoken through them by a god or a deity. Okay, and that's what they believe in the Baptist church. Now, we're going to focus on this aspect of it, incomprehensible. Is that what was happening when the disciples were speaking in tongues? Let's go to Acts, the 2nd chapter. Okay. We're just going to start here at the top. And it says, and when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. So the high holy day was taking place, right? Verse 2. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of a fire, and it sat upon each of them. So each of them were endowed with this gift. All right. Verse 4. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, no such thing as ghosts, right? And began to speak with other tongues, other languages, right? As the Spirit gave them utterance. Now see if when they were speaking in these other tongues, if it was incomprehensible. All right, verse 4 again. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. We already looked up the definition. Verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. And this is why it's so important to understand the diaspora, to understand the Bible, all right, and who it's written to, why certain things are taking place. You have to understand that we were scattered due to the multiple captivities because of our own disobedience. And you had Israelites growing up in different lands who grew up under different customs, not knowing they were Israelites, speaking other languages, practicing other cultures, the same way you grew up in America, practicing American culture, which is really Edomite culture. All right. Verse 6. Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded. Why were they confounded? Because that every man heard them speak in his own language. So every man that was there, and they came to Jerusalem from all these different lands, they were hearing the disciples, they were hearing the men of the Lord speak in the very tongue that they grew up hearing. All right. So they comprehended what was being said to them. Get it? They comprehended they understood what was being said to them, because the Lord put the Spirit on those men that were from the Commonwealth, that were from Jerusalem, that were from Israel, to be able to explain the things of the Lord in a tongue that they could understand and comprehend in full. You get it? So that's what it was for. And here they didn't need an interpreter for the tongues, because everybody heard the words come out in a tongue that they could comprehend. So it was comprehensive. But we just read in dictionary.com that they say, oh, it's an incomprehensible tongue. No. And I mentioned an interpreter because, hey, if somebody was speaking a different tongue, it was a decree that somebody was there to interpret that tongue, man. All right, so this is 1 Corinthians 14:26. This is the account when you're supposed to have an interpreter, right? It says, how is it then, brethren, when you come together, every one of you hath a psalm, hath a doctrine, hath a tongue, hath a revelation, hath an interpretation, that all things be done unto edifying. Okay, so everything that the Lord has within the body, all the experiences that we get is for the sake of edification, coming up on a level, growing in understanding, right? 27, it says, if any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by 2, or at the most by 3, and that by course, and let one interpret. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence in the church, all right? And let him speak to himself and to God. So when you are speaking in a tongue, there's supposed to be somebody to interpret that tongue. And that's because people are speaking known languages. So we just went through that account in Acts 2. Okay. And this is the actual conduct around someone speaking a different language. There's supposed to be an interpreter. And I do also want to go to Acts 22, because we're going to go look at the language. What language did the Lord actually speak? It's Acts 26 and 14. All right. So when Saul was knocked off that horse and he heard that voice from the heavens, what language was it? All right. It's Acts 26 and 14. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in a Hebrew tongue, which is a known language. The Paleo Hebrew is our language, right? The Lashawan Kadash, the holy tongue. Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So, when you go through the volume of the book, and this is in the New Testament, by the way, because a lot of people say, oh, that's the Old Testament. No, this is in the New. All right, so this is the proper understanding. All right, all it takes is a little bit of reading. All right, but like I said, in the world, you learn so many things that are contrary to what the Lord actually says. And people don't realize how that, just blindly taking on these practices and these customs of the world, it leads to your own destruction. It leads to you voiding yourself out of being delivered, because destruction is coming upon this place. Look at the plagues that are hitting the earth right now. This new thing, right? The MP. The Lord has it specifically targeting. They say, oh, it's not just for, the alphabet people, but the Lord has it specifically targeting, the Rainbow Coalition. Because these are plagues that the Lord is really sending out as a judgment to people, because they're unrepentant and they're unconcerned with how they should be conducting themselves. They're unconcerned with it. So the Lord's going to send plagues little bit by little bit, and a lot of death is going to be taking place. Right? So, Lord willing, you got something from the lesson. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who the Lord used to teach us this truth. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity, man. May the blessing of election be upon your house. All right, shalom.